Hello and warning. Yes, this is our usual preemptive warning that there are spoilers ahead. However, this is also a slight explanation that this week we did not have a podcast necessarily to put out, so we are diving into our back catalog of things that should have gone out either last season, the season before, or just got buried in the shuffle. In this case, what we are going to be giving you today is an episode that explained that we were back after a long hiatus to discuss the film The Menu. And it should have gone out nearing the end of season 4, but it kind of got lost in the shuffle of confusion, extra work, and just life stuff. So I do thank you for taking the time to stop in and listen to this podcast today, and hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to Cinematic Anarchy, or what I think is Cinematic Anarchy. We've been away for a while now.
Yeah.
We
live!
We've survived the holidays, we've survived several other things, COVID and personal crapola, and we are back to do something.
What the fuck is up, guys?
I don't even know. Are they still there? Are you still here?
Are they? Is this all in our heads?
I'm not sure. We had a handful of very, very loyal listeners. Just a handful.
Yeah.
They kept this in very small amounts of money, which is fine. I don't care. However, it's been
a fucking while.
We met one of our listeners, and we recorded an episode or two with him last year. Or I know I did.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to sit down and try to record with us once or twice before he moves. I have been poaching talent from a convenience store very close to me, who requests a shout-out. But then I started thinking to myself, what are the legal ramifications of me giving a shout-out to these people next door? And us saying something off-color they don't like.
I'm true.
I mean, I gotta cover my ass in case, somebody like Seth pops back on the podcast. I can't be given, hey, shout out to blah, 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 and then Seth pisses somebody off, and they're like, you mentioned our name. You take that shit out.
Yeah.
I don't like editing. It'll be a 5-second edit.
Even
but,
still.
I don't want to do it.
Anyway.
So they get no shout out, but thank you, Trevor, for hanging out with us a couple times.
Fuck yeah.
Today...
And you're cool, Holly.
Holly. Oh, Holly. Yes, Holly. Holly, yes. Oh, my God. That was not that long ago.
No.
And,
it was a few hours. And I'm the one that took a nap.
Look, I spent a lot of time down in Georgia and in the South, going to various churches just to kind of test the waters of Christianity, so on and so forth. They ruined me for remembering people's fucking names.
Yeah. Because
they want you to know the whole congregation, but all they're doing is, this is Chris, and this is Chris, and this is Chris. My name is buried within their Savior's name. So,
yeah.
I mean, they're not going to forget that too easily. However, me trying to remember Barbara, Joe, and Gordon, fuck that. I have no idea. And why I picked 3 80-year-old names out of my head, I have no idea.
Fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you!
So, for the first film back, we are going to go ahead and we're going to be talking about...
The Menu.
The Menu, yes. My brain, it's sitting right here in front of me. We're playing it in the background, and my brain just... We are going to be talking about The Menu. However, we are going to try to... We're adjusting things starting this year to try to make things a little easier for us to sit down and record several things at the same time. So we're trying to keep it to a short 30-minute format. That being said, hopefully we'll get a lot of talking done very quickly. Couple of 15-minute segments here and there. And why I'm telling you the technical... blah, 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 what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, let's get on to the movie.
Right, yes. Okay. So, here I am, brain boy over here. I actually had brought up all this information. Like, I don't want to forget it. And then I let my phone shut off, so none of it's in front of me. We are talking about 2002, the horror thriller about a young couple who travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises.
Okay, 2022.
2022. What did I say?
2002.
2002?
No, yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to my wife.
Can do
I believe
numbers.
I'm getting
I promise,
Alzheimer's.
guys.
Yes. I can't do numbers. I can't do names. I can't do anything, and that's why I have other people come over here and go, hey.
ADHD in its workings.
And then, of course, over here in left field is Miss Candace, who is piping up high.
Well, it's your ADHD.
Yes, it is. I have a bit of ADHD.
Who doesn't?
Which is not like a high-definition television. I just have no fucking brain. This movie stars Ralph Fiennes, Anna Taylor-Joy. We have Nicholas Hoult, Hong Chow. We have Janet McTeer, Paul Adelstein, John Leguizamo, Amy Carrero, and many, many others.
They had a pretty decent cast.
It's an all-star cast. I was yes, Judith Light. I don't want to forget Judith Light. Candace absolutely loves Who's the Boss, and of
Lifetime.
course she also loves Lifetime movies, the bane of my existence. That one time a year, Lifetime and Hallmark get together and decide to inundate us with the most saccharinely sweet romantic holiday movies you can think of. Right? You would think that Lifetime wouldn't go so saccharinely sweet, considering that they're known for, like, the vengeful, murderous woman movies. This guy fucked with me, now we're gonna just fuck some shit up.
Pretty much.
This is where all the B-list and C-list actresses from the 80s ended up having, went from childhood star to, we're in Lifetime and Hallmark movies now.
Yep.
Everybody.
Way to go, guys.
Cameron's done it. We have Sabrina. What's her name?
Melissa
Joan Hart. She's
who also has her own podcast.
Yes. We're not giving
Everyone's
other
got a
people's
podcast.
podcast shout-outs on here.
Everyone's
we did
got a
one
podcast these days.
Maisie Williams. We shouted out her podcast.
What's up, babe?
Right. But she's not doing her podcast anymore. It was decent, though.
It was.
It was. All right. So we're talking about this film that, when I first turned it on, I did not realize it was supposed to be a horror movie. I didn't read into it. I had a gentleman at work actually recommend this film to me.
Yeah.
So the first time I put it on, I'm like, hey, yeah, let's sit down and watch this movie. And I was all for it. And I didn't realize what I was getting into. And then things started getting increasingly tense. And I'm like, Ralph Fiennes, of course it's going to be like an art house. Like, I thought art house, kind of pretentious movie about a guy, a chef who's having an issue with his
Some
restaurant.
Gordon Ramsay shit.
Yeah, well, Ralph Fiennes, he's not like necessarily a low-key actor.
It's fucking Voldemort!
He plays big roles, big, lavish roles.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is going to be something like dramatic, which it technically
Kinda
is.
was.
But it was like the minorly gory version of dramatic.
Yeah.
Horror, a little bit of suspense. It was definitely
Shock and awe.
shock and awe. Yeah, it was going bit by bit, and as we were moving along, it was, I didn't expect what I was watching at all.
Yeah.
And
Very theatrical.
I had to watch it 3 times, like, personally view it 3 times to pick up on little things.
I enjoyed it, though.
It was definitely unique.
Fucking pretentious as shit.
Well, I mean,
that's the whole point.
the whole point is everybody here is a little bit pretentious, self-involved, self-important.
Yeah.
Is it listed as a psychological thriller or a horror?
As listed as a
it's
horror/thriller.
Yeah, it's more psychological.
So
Yeah.
this falls into some of the better psychological horror films that I've watched in the past. I would put this up there with, I'm not going to say that it's on par with, but I would put this up there with the kind of intensity that you got with, like, The Shining.
Okay.
It's a slow burn. It's not something
Yeah.
that just bludgeons you over the head. It's, it builds up to the grand finale.
It's not Martyrs.
It's not. We'll talk about Martyrs at another time. This is not Martyrs. You're right. That's a different kind of in your face.
Yeah.
So basically, these guests are all invited to an island. Only one of the guests
knows exactly what's going to happen at the end of the meal.
Right. And this is focused on his partner that he brought along. So the main portion of the movie is between the chef and the main partner, played by Anna Taylor-Joy.
Anya.
So I guess she calls herself is it Margot in this movie?
She calls herself Margot, but her real name is
Erin.
Erin.
From Brockton.
Yep.
Massachusetts. Nice shout out to Massachusetts.
Yeah,
too.
what's up? Fucking... But the entire time, he's bringing out these tiny dishes with practically nothing on them, and it's got a whole big-ass story behind it, behind each fucking course. And every time he brings out a dish, Anya Taylor-Joy?
I'm Taylor-Joy.
Joy. I can do names sometimes.
Hey, look, you just did the same thing I normally do, so now you can't accuse me of anything anymore.
Fucking... The entire time, she's not touching the fucking food. It's just unappetizing to her. And fucking Chef Voldemort over here is getting super goddamn fucking, offended. Because she won't touch her plate.
Well, she's also not the person that was intended to be there.
Yeah.
This guy had in mind the girl that Tyler was seeing.
Yeah.
And she ended up being there kind of by default, which also shows what kind of a shit he is.
Yep. Because he already knew what was going to happen.
Well, he hired her to come along. And he knew that, we spoil movies anyway.
Yes,
the whole point was that Tyler knew beforehand that everybody was going to die. And still, knowing that, he hired her and brought her along when his significant other had already broken up with him. Which, fucking good for her.
Honestly,
if he was going to bring her along anyway,
fuck
good
him.
for her.
He was misogynist, though.
Yeah, entirely.
I would say that he bordered on sociopathic about food.
Well,
yeah.
She was an escort, so...
Either way.
There's a reason why he brought her
You can be sociopathic and bring an escort along. It's just no empathy at all.
Yeah.
None. He's like, he wants
People
the food.
Are dying around him, and all he can think about is, oh my god, these fucking fish eggs. Oh yeah.
Or somebody shoots themselves. Haha, didn't expect that. Hey. Just big smile on his face. Everybody else is freaking out.
Yep.
But obviously he knew something at that point. That's what I got the second time through. I didn't think too much about his attitude and the way he reacted to things until after I knew. We get to the end of the movie and then we watch it again. It's like, okay, I can see how he was already an ass. He knew this here. He definitely knew here.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I know this is part of the show. I know everybody's going to die. And, that's how he dies. Didn't expect that at all.
Yep. No, someone just got a finger cut off.
Right?
But...
He was a foodie.
Yeah.
Instagram influencer foodie.
Wanted so desperately to be part of fucking the kitchen.
The kitchen.
And then when...
Shit meal.
Yeah, right? And then when Chef calls him up, he fucking makes the worst fucking dish. And then he dies, right?
Well, right after that, he goes and hangs himself.
Yeah.
Right. So...
Ha.
Well, he knew he was going to die anyway. I guess he decided to take himself out before the main course. Which honestly
I don't deserve
seems
it.
a little out of character. But I guess him being put on the spot and it's like, okay, well, you think you're yourself the chef. You can do anything. Go ahead. Go. Have my kitchen and... Show us what kind of a chef you are.
What do you have? We have literally fucking everything.
If you recall, right before he hung himself, he spoke to him.
Right.
And said something that you couldn't hear. Right? And then he walked off.
Right.
So he was literally telling him to go kill himself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody there, in one way or another, was a centralized obsession of his. Mm-hmm. Whether it be the critic or the older couple or the three businessmen.
The three dicks?
The three dicks. Or whether you have the guy that ruined his one day off. The actor, John Leguizamo. All of these people had some sort of effect on him and how he did his thing and where he ended up. And a big complaint of his was the fact that his stuff had gotten to the price point that these were the only people he could actually serve. People that are unpleasable.
Yeah.
And I thought it was brilliant that he had his mother there the entire time. I think,
Right?
like, whatever happened when that guy cut off the circulation, basically his father strangled his mother with a phone cord.
Yeah.
That speech he went into. I think whatever happened, certain amount of brain damage, basically, there was a lot of brain damage that happened, so he brought her there as sort of a mercy, knowing that he wasn't going to be around anymore anyway to take care of her. So bring mom along.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you should have to live like this in a home alone.
Absolutely the fuck not.
That's not a Macaulay Culkin callback, why? But. So, all in all, I think everybody got what they fucking deserved.
Yeah. And Anya didn't have to die.
No,
She got the choice of getting out. And she got her fucking burger.
She did not get the choice of getting out. But we'll get back to that in just a minute. We're going to give a moment for our sponsors to talk, and we will
do the thing.
Come back and finish this up.
All right.
This is Two Chicks Talking Flicks, where we review movies. We try to dig deeper and go more in depth.
And profound for me.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, what? We even bring up relevant topics.
I remember from Punky Brewster that you don't go inside the fridge.
And we're here to have those tough conversations. Mm-hmm.
And she was wearing a white dress, which
was yellow.
Huh?
It was yellow. So if this sounds like the podcast for you, please enjoy. New episodes every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
We are the hosts of the Strange and Beautiful Book Club. On the Strange and Beautiful Book Club, Matt and I share our adventures discovering forgotten movies, television shows, and books in the science fiction, horror, and fantasy genre.
Not necessarily good movies, though.
Oh, certainly not. We love a good, bad movie. The quirkier, the funnier, the more campy, the better.
But we talk about some classics, too.
Of course, we can't ignore our favorites like Highlander or the 1990s vampire cop television show, Forever Night, which we are currently covering one episode at a time.
As if I could forget.
Oh, hush. You love every minute of it.
Come join us every week as we discover, discuss, and dissect fantasy, horror, and sci-fi genre classics. New episodes release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So remember, sometimes the strangest things are the most beautiful, too.
So be who you are and love what you love. Until next time, friends.
Bye!
All right, so drawing us back in here. They go.
Okay, NPR.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
All right, so drawing us back in.
Yes, no.
Close to NPR ASMR talking. We don't want to do that. Okay. Bringing us back into the movie here. We go from fucked up course to fucked up course.
Yeah.
Starting with the ocean, moving on. I think was the mess second. Was that the second course?
No. It's, I think.
Oh no, that was the breadless plate with all the.
Yeah.
Basically the accompaniment without accompaniments.
Yeah, it's just fucking condiments, basically.
All the things
on a
that
plate.
you dip the bread in.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are not peasants. You do not need bread. And all of them are like, place that's famous for their fucking bread. We came here, no bread.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Totally.
That's the first time they got upset, right? You got the critics
Well,
there.
I mean,
that's broken.
We're on course 3 or 4 right now, and they finally got their bread. Tortillas exposing all their secrets.
Right. My favorite gag through this is a gag. This is comedy for me. Was the I'm sorry, you moved to that. I'll get back to that. We moved past the bread part, which started a gag, where the female critic is poking at the emulsification that's sitting there, and they're so pissed off about hearing the only thing that she can comment on this plate is the broken emulsification. Right? Is that they keep giving her larger and larger bowls of broken emulsifications. Just here's another bowl for you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Seeing as you're so interested in it, here you fucking go. Yeah. Just I don't know, was that oil and whatever that was?
Something.
Like oil
I don't
and vinegar.
fucking know.
But that became a running gag throughout the thing, and every time it comes up now, I laugh. Just yep, here's another one.
And then fucking Ralph Fiennes follows Anya into the fucking bathroom to be like, why aren't you eating your food? Because it's not fucking food, man.
Like the father that wants to punish the daughter for going into her room because she's not hungry.
Right?
Well, did you see what you put on a plate in front of me? I mean, I see these sheep. They're eating what you want because they're like, yes, chef, kiss your ass, chef. Let's do this.
Yep.
But she's just like, this is pretentious bullshit food. I haven't gotten anything to eat yet.
Yeah.
You gave us a plate with nothing but condiments on it and a friggin'
You're not
scallop.
eating your food. What food?
Or was it an oyster was the first thing?
Yeah.
An oyster on, like, seawater that melts and flavors the oyster.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting here like, fucking what? There's one thing here. That's it. And so she's like, I'm not going to eat that, and I'm not going to eat this, because what am I going to do? Lick my plate
right?
of the condiments? My parents told me not to do that. Wash it off. What are you doing? Don't lick the plate.
Yep. I don't know, man. But the secret exposing tortillas was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's really
everybody
creative.
had their secrets. You had the businessmen that had been basically cooking the books and stealing money.
Yep.
You,
Embezzling. And then you've got the guy having an affair with his secretary.
right. And then there was... What was his? Was just a picture of him. Tyler's was just pictures of him there that
taking
evening.
photos of the
That
food.
was his biggest crime.
The girl in the photo with the old man is
Right.
her.
Oh, that's right. They had pointed out that it was her that was
Yep.
having the affair with him. And the woman's in the room, so why is he going to call her out? Like, oh, I have no idea what that is. This is definitely a joke. And then the critics both had theirs. It was all the restaurants that she had shut down or destroyed because of her reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. What did the actor have?
It was a poster of one of his movies.
Was it the one that had ruined...
Yeah.
Dr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's that kind of stuff. Did we move past the mess? We
Yes.
moved past the mess.
We moved past the mess.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we mentioned it.
We mentioned it. We didn't say what it was.
Yeah.
Well, let's just fucking spoil it.
Okay.
So he pulls his sous chef down, and they basically have set up herbs or whatever or flowers around a plastic tarp that they have put on the ground,
Yep.
and
He designed this meal, and it's exactly what you'd assume. It's fucking messy. And then he blows his brains out just as they're serving, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck!" And then Tyler's in the back corner, like, "Oh, that's fun."
that's where he's like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's where we got that whole thing from. But this guy basically blew his brains out because the chef pulls him up in front of everybody. And he obviously, this is all part of the plan. They knew we were going to do this anyway. He has come to the conclusion that even after working with the chef, the sous chef has decided that he will never be as good as Ralph Fiennes,
Yeah.
basically. And so his was to just basically create a meal, and the punctuation to the meal is his own,
Brain.
basically, well, not his own brain,
Yeah.
just him blowing his brains out.
Yeah.
I guess that you can call that a punctuation, the blood all over the place.
That's pretty punctual.
It's the accoutrement to his plate of what looked like uncooked meat.
Yeah,
It,
right?
it looked like mostly uncooked meat with a
did.
bone.
It was
Ugh.
narrow.
I know why the bone is on the plate. Everybody knows you see a bone on your plate, it's because you're supposed to suck the marrow out of
Yeah.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gross.
The stuff that's in the middle of the bone.
Well,
the
I know
marrow.
that. But I know what bone marrow is, sir.
Yes. Okay.
But it's
I am not
gross.
uncultured, but
I am completely uncultured.
I usually just,
Very
like,
Hannibal.
never touch the bone.
No, that's Chianti with fava beans and your kidneys. Oh no, liver. Your liver. With Chianti and fava beans.
Never do that
does.
again.
It's what he does.
Never do that again.
I make no promises. I make no promises. Anyhow, that would actually have been a perfect course to the meal. Like, they had this one guy that basically pissed him off. Like, turned him into this. The guy that basically funded his little empire. That's the guy he dropped into the sea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically the one who had financial control over
Yep.
him.
And
Fallen angel, please.
always wanted substitutions, even though he knows there's no fucking substitutions in this restaurant. Ah!
Oh, that made him really mad.
Yep.
Like, this is my menu. There are no substitutions on my menu. But that shows you how unbending he
Yeah.
is.
He's so full of himself that he can't fucking, like, work around other people.
Well, that's part of why he's doing this, though. is because he's gotten to that point where he has gotten to a level of fame and recognition that people always expect a certain thing out of him. If he deviates from that plan, it could ruin him.
Yeah.
So the amount of stress that these people put on him on a daily basis, it just drove him to this.
Yeah.
I don't want to call him crazy because he does not seem crazy here.
No, he likes what he does. He fucking takes pride in his craft. It's just he's feeling unappreciated now.
And calculating. I mean, there's unappreciated. I feel unappreciated. You can just say something to that.
No, he becomes obsessed with it.
Society, though, is coming to the point where everybody is going to end up doing something on this line.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you have higher-ups going, I want it this way, I want it this way, and you have 9 people telling you what to do, and then you have people on the phones yelling at you if you have a phone job, in the restaurants yelling at you if you're a cook.
It's customer service in general. It's
People
become
suck.
a job where
Retail sucks.
you have
Oh,
to
fuck yeah.
deal with a certain level of abuse on a daily basis because any single person could be that person that you have that slight infraction with, and then all you know is that the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your job is miserable because one person was an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, and it's mainly those people who have never worked a day in their life or have never worked in retail, customer service, restaurants, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you ever worked at Target and you get those kids who go up to the ball pit, grab the ball, start playing with it, and just leave it. And their parents are like, okay, dude, pick it up, put it in the ball pit.
Oh my god.
It reminded me of a line that Ben Affleck spouted out when he was in Mallrats.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, "You think the customer is always right? No, the customer is always an asshole."
Yes.
Honestly, when I watched the movie, I always thought he was a prick, but that is one thing that he got right.
Yeah.
Because when you are in a customer service job, it doesn't matter what job that is. You know, I don't envy these people that work right next door to us.
Be a fucking dick.
I always try to be above and beyond polite and respectful to customer service
They're always
workers.
going to be a dick.
No, I said customer service workers, not. I don't want. I'm not talking about me working with people. I'm talking about me dealing with employees in there. Because I know how it is on the other end. I've dealt with the abuse. It's not pleasant, and I can understand why Jefe here has been driven to say, "Hey, all of you.
Yep.
Guess why you're here tonight?
You're gonna fucking die."
Everybody's dying tonight. Even the people that brought you here, they're all gonna die too.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, see this girl over here? She's the one that thought of it. She was like, you know what? Everybody should die. And I was like, yeah, let's kill them all.
Oh, because he tried to sexualize her?
Oh, she did sexualize her. Basically, sexual harassment in the workplace. Apparently, Jefe is not beyond that.
No.
Ralph Fiennes definitely pigeonholed this woman for her entire career because she refused his advances, which shows you about that power struggle in the workplace and how a lot of people that get in a position of power think they can do pretty much fucking anything.
And then he lets her stab him in the thigh. Yeah.
This whole thing is his apology to his staff for failing them, basically.
And telling the customers, go fuck yourself.
Not only did I fail you, but they all fucked you.
Yep.
So, that's basically what he said. No matter which side you're on, he's not on either side. He's not on the side of the customers, he's not on the side of his employees. He's fucked all of his employees, and all these people have fucked with him. He is his own island.
Yeah.
So even when he's making Anna Taylor-Joy here, Margot / Erin? No. Erin?
Erin.
Yes. When he's making her make a choice on a timer, you have 15 minutes to decide, are you on their side or ours? He's saying ours like he's together with them.
Yeah.
And while he does control all of them in their lives, he's not.
Yeah.
This is an apology to his staff for basically dehumanizing them in every way that he could think of, because that's kind of the nature of a big chef like that, is you dehumanize and control your staff to the point of obsession. I'm sure that any big chef, hey, Gordon Ramsay, come over here and tell us, yell at us a little bit. Yeah, you're calling us out. You don't fucking know anything. I don't know anything. That's why you gotta tell me.
Yeah.
If you've listened to this podcast, I don't know anything. I never claim to know anything. I can parrot a few things, but stop laughing.
Well,
You've known me too long. Shush.
What man turns around and says, I don't know anything?
A man raised by women.
Yeah.
True.
A man raised by women.
Very true.
Sorry, I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, my sisters. Well, I wasn't raised by my sisters, but they didn't take care of my sisters. My aunts. My stepfather didn't come into my life till I was well past 10. And honestly, I mean, I was past the age of that kind of impression. Mom and the girls had already taken care of me for long enough that I knew all about that. I remember, I had such a, I didn't know up until after 10 years old what the inside of a men's room looked like.
Ah!
Because my mother wouldn't let me go into the men's room.
Oh my God.
She'd always take me into the women's room at 10 years old.
At that point, you know what's what.
Yeah, right?
Right. But when I'm sitting here and I'm sorry, there's a restaurant across the way that you probably never experienced because they were closed a long while back. It was called the 3Gs, Giordano's Restaurant out in Georgetown.
I remember that.
You do? You had to have been little.
Vaguely.
I mean, that place was
Yeah.
closed down a bit back. But they had they had the men's room and the women's room. And the women's room had like the 2 to 3 stalls in the back with a bank of washers, but in between the front door and that was this massive powder room with couches and all sorts of other stuff and mirrors. It basically looked like a burlesque place to dress. Then you go into the men's room. There's 2 sinks, 2 stalls, 4 urinals, smelled like piss. There was a big difference between the men's and women's room. Part of it was aim, obviously, because if you got the whole place smelling like piss, that means you didn't get it in the fucking toilet.
Well, it was a place that served alcohol. What guy can...
Well, it was a place that served alcohol, and they did public theater downstairs. There was a whole theater house downstairs that... You remember Mr. was it Belanger? Or Mr. Dawson? No, it was Mr. Belanger. He worked with the... Over at the high school. He worked with students in... special education, but he also ran the theater department for the school. Mm-hmm. And he also did his own theater productions over there. So they did all sorts of off-Broadway versions of Broadway hits.
Okay.
All done by... It is basically the kids from the school had a theater. And then they were like, now we're adults and don't know what to do with ourselves. Oh, look at this. This restaurant has a theater. Mm-hmm. That's what it was.
Okay.
After the 3Gs went away, they never did anything with that theater again.
Well, they never did anything with that building. Every time they try, the place gets shut down.
Well, there's been 3... It's all been sports bar type restaurants that have taken the place over. What it was beforehand, the reason why it was so popular, was a family Italian restaurant run by an Italian family.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah, so we got way off track here.
Yeah, we did.
ADHD.
All in all, I tried to... maybe somebody can write this out for me, kind of figure it out, but I felt like they were trying to touch on the 7 deadly sins, but I couldn't place all the sins within the group. I really couldn't.
I kind of got that feeling, too.
Was grief and something to do with sexuality.
Lust.
Because, lust. But I mean, there's a couple people that could be accused of lust. There's a couple people that can be accused of rage. You have a definite greed there.
Yep.
You have pride, which was definitely the 2 critics. Envy. Who was envy? Well, I guess there was a couple people that could have been considered envy as well. Tyler was definitely envy.
Yeah.
But he could also be accused of gluttony.
Yep.
In a certain way. So there was definitely the 7 deadly sins were embodied in the room, but it was just spread across everybody. So you couldn't really say that it was a 7 deadly sins theme, because... You know, that would be kind of like sectionalized. Like, you want to make sure that each person emphasizes a different thing, which would have probably made this a much worse movie. So don't listen to me.
I'm looking at his face, and all I can think is...
Look, he's got a nose in this. Okay?
I did. Hey, man.
Stop looking at him like he's Voldemort.
He is Voldemort.
What is that psychology thing? Where the dog and the bell?
Pavlov's dogs.
Okay. So he does that thing with his hands. Every time the people freak out.
Yep.
I thought that was... I thought that was in part, you know, how they all said, yes, chef, and they basically startled them in between meals. I thought that was part of them keeping their heart rates up at continually throughout the movie. Just clapping his hands really hard. Yes, Chef, and all the other stuff that were basically meant to be almost jump scares.
Yeah, it was like a lot of them, especially the women in this, they like literally jumped out of their seats every time he would slap their hands.
Are they going to do this every time? I guess they did. Every single time. And then she used it against him at the end. I would like to send this back. This movie is horrible. Oh, no, I meant to say the food is horrible, but this movie, that movie was actually pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
I've watched it 3 times, and I wasn't disappointed in watching it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So, like, I watched it 3 times within a 1-week span, and if I'm not disappointed in doing that, it's an impressive movie. If I watch something 3 times in a row, there's been a few movies that we've watched, like, Zero Boys?
Oh my god.
Watching that as many times as I have.
Absolutely the fuck not.
It shouldn't have garnered more than a one-time watch.
It's mind-numbing.
That's why I'm enjoying this. We're both in the same building again.
Yeah, right?
If we can actually watch the movies and then review them, then I don't have to do that.
As long as nobody falls asleep in between.
Well, look,
I was pretty close to death.
Hey, first of all, you macrameing yourself into the couch over here, that was your own thing. I didn't bring you over here. It's like, hey,
cozy.
Look, we're about to record. Can you make yourself, comatose? Just zonk out. You
Fried
good?
food does that.
Oh, God. Fried food, little alcohol, little smoke.
Yep.
Little bit of everything. You put that all together, and then the Chinese food just puts you in a coma. That was like, the pizza was good, and then the Chinese food is just like, yeah, man.
Yep, it just fucking nailed in that coffin.
Just that MSG soaking in with the rest of it. Pff, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good. All right, well, all in all,
decent fucking movie.
Decent fucking movie. I would definitely recommend it.
Absolutely. It's on HBO.
However, if you listen to this entire podcast, and we gave away quite a few significant bits of the movie, just because we like to shoot the shit, and even if it's a bad movie,
it's a spoiler cast.
We spoil. You knew that at the beginning. We put that right at the beginning. Yeah. Sorry if we ruined it for you. If we did, then you probably had no intention of watching this anyway. Because you're already looking it up. What are these people saying about this movie? I want to hear everything about it before I watch it. You don't care then. Go watch the movie first before you listen to people actually review the movie and talk about it, because then they're going to ruin it for you. Why am I telling you to go away? Listen. Just listen.
And watch the movie.
Watch the movie.